Yeah.
How do you morally justify not being vegan?
May I ask you a question?
I guess, yeah.
Do you have pets? Like a dog or a cat?
I have a companion, yeah.
A dog?
No, it's a cat.
A cat. Alright. Do you feed... What do you feed your cat?
I have a mix of things because we're transitioning her. So we do still buy...
Transitioning her to vegan?
Yeah.
Alright, that's all I need to know. Are you aware that is considered animal abuse?
Why is it animal abuse?
Your cats need... Cats are carnivores.
Yeah, I have a vegan cat food that is nutritionally balanced for her.
Alright. Can you name what it is?
Yeah, I can go grab it, in fact.
Please and thank you.
Have this, and then I'll just grab this bag. Okay, so I have a mix of wet and dry food. I have it's Evolution. Oh, you can't see it.
Green screen is being weird.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it to show. Maybe if I hold it like
fine.
this.
Oh, okay, so...
Evolution.
Okay. Alright,
And then I also have this. Also Evolution. It's
Right.
it's her
Vegan
dried
food.
kibble. Yep.
Alright. Can you educate me of how are they... Because cats need nutrients, correct?
Yeah, it's got all
Protein.
their nutrients.
So is it like meat made in a lab? Kind of like what they're doing with like current...
No, this is actually made out of plants. There is a lab-grown, I think it's a lab-grown chicken meat that's coming out for cat food, I think at the end of this year, which I was looking forward to, but I found out that they use embryo chickens to make it, so it's fertilized chicken eggs that they're scraping. So I don't know, I don't like that because that means they're still using a chicken to lay eggs for one thing, and then they're using a fertilized egg to then make the chicken flesh. If they can do it without using an animal, I'm all for it. But right now, I don't know, it doesn't sound like they all do that.
You know, there are some ways I could view why people would be vegan. What I don't like is when people hunt for sport. That's what I don't like. Now,
Why do you not like that?
because hunting for sport, like, if you can just go out and eat, there should be no reason to go out and shoot an innocent deer if you're not hungry or starving. If
Right.
it gets to survival and, you know, you're isolated in woods and you have to hunt to get food, that's when it's okay. But, you know, when you're hunting for sport, you don't necessarily need to go out because you live right next to a grocery store, you know, and that's where it gets, you know, where I kind of draw the line.
Okay, well then
however-
I'll just use your logic on you, which is that you're in the grocery store and you have access to both vegan and non-vegan things. You can easily just get the vegan things. I absolutely understand when people have literally nothing else and you would take
I
the
understand.
immoral life, but you do have access to those plant things. So I do agree with you. That is great logic. You know, if you
Yes,
don't need
you know,
it, then you shouldn't consume
you
it.
do make a point. I understand what you're doing. However,
Well, we agree though the animal is sentient, right? It's not fair to take their life unjustly.
but
Yeah.
also you have to understand humans aren't the only one hunting down animals for food. It's been a thing throughout the animal kingdom.
Oh no, you're covering your mic. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
You're
yeah,
great.
I have like a Samsung Galaxy S8, so it's pretty old. But like,
Nice,
you
well
know,
done.
hunting has been an evolutionary thing throughout animal kingdom, basically, right? Like, are you gonna go out and debate a lion to become vegan? No, because you know, and I get it. We are natural herbivores, and you can eat plants, and that's okay. Good for you. But you know, they're, you know,
It's not
people,
about me, though, right? We agreed that the animals are sentient and they deserve their life and they deserve to
yes,
not
and
have
I
it take.
agree.
So that's where I'm coming from. That's
Yes,
it.
no, I
They
agree.
don't. We can, as humans, thrive biologically on plants, fungi, and seaweed. So if you have access to those
Depends
things,
on what
you have a
you're.
moral obligation to not harm someone.
Well, it also depends if you want to be healthy. That's why we're omnivores. We eat plants and protein. We need protein for
We're
muscle
more like
mass, for stronger
scavengers.
bones.
We're more like scavengers. We can consume a lot of different things, but it
Mhm.
doesn't mean that it's healthy for us, and it doesn't mean that it's moral. So I'm coming at it from a moral aspect. You know, it's someone, you're taking their life, and you don't need to.
What brand of headphones are you wearing?
I think these are Bose. They're kind of old now.
Are they like?
Isn't Bose gone now? That company?
I never heard of that company, but um, I will say, milk. We don't. Us as humans don't need milk. At least cow milk, and that's very unnecessary for humans. Humans are actually not even supposed to like even drink milk. That's why where people are like lactose intolerant, because after they stop drinking for a while, like they're not built to handle that, you know. But you know there are like things out there like where it's like I forgot
Well,
how.
so the reason why I'm against dairy, I do agree that there's dietary racism because all these main government bodies include dairy in their food charts, even though
Yeah.
I think it's like 60 something plus % of the world is lactose intolerant, if not more. And but that aside, it's about the cow, like what the cow has to go through. She's an individual having an experience of the world. She has
Okay.
someone violate her, force her to have a baby, and then
Yeah.
have that baby taken from her, and then we use her until she can't stand anymore. And we do this over and over and over,
You are
and then
aware.
and then she's sent to the slaughterhouse.
Where are you getting these sources from? PETA, right?
That's common practice.
No, because when I looked up the article, you know, when you're
Okay,
talking about,
no. Just forget about the article. Tell me, how is milk made?
yeah, it's coming from the udders without their consent. You are correct about that.
No. Not just that it comes out of her udders. Why does she produce milk?
To feed her babies.
To feed her
But
babies.
however, they do nutrition the milk. That's how cows are made. You know.
They what? They what?
If that was the case,
No, wait.
wouldn't there be no more
Repeat
cows
what
anymore?
you said. What do they do?
I have a speech impediment. All right. Forget
Oh no,
what said.
okay. I was like, I just literally didn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay. So if that was the case, then there would be no female cows left if all the female cows' babies just died.
So, honestly, we should not be force breeding these cows into existence. They're not naturally mating. They're forcing these animals together to make babies, or they're putting their hand literally up them and pipetting bull semen that they JO'd from a bull into a female. So it's one or the other. Either they're doing it by hand or they're pinning a male and female together. Either way, they're essaying this animal to force her to get pregnant so that they can take the milk from her. That's wrong. You shouldn't force breed people into existence just to use them. So in my opinion, no more breeding of domesticated animals at all. And in about 20 years, there won't be any more.
Honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the milk came from what the female cow ate, like hay.
I mean, she eats grass, but the only way she'll produce milk is if she has a baby.
Oh, it's kind of like humans. All right.
She's a mammal. Yep.
Yep. Okay. You know, I can see where you're coming from, and I can see that's, you know, kind of messed up. You know, I personally would not kill an animal, but
Right.
you know,
Because it's sad, right? It's upsetting. It's uncomfortable.
Not something you want to look at.
Right. Why don't you want to look at it though? If we were meant to eat animals, wouldn't we we'd be excited seeing the animals suffer?
Wait, what? No.
Or at least
no, I don't
eating
think
them.
anyone wants to look at an animal die. Even though
It wouldn't bother us.
Like, even though,
It wouldn't bother us. Look at carnivores. They get excited when they see a small animal scurry by them,
because
we
they're
don't
hungry.
do that. Not always. Cats aren't always hungry, and they'll still eat the head off of a squirrel or a bird.
Is hungry all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what I'm saying is most of the times, sometimes it's
it
play.
might just be your cat that's hungry all the time, because it needs protein.
Right. No, this is all cats. Actually, it's a problem with domesticated cats being left outside. They wipe out native bird populations and other small animals. Some animals even gone extinct from it.
I don't have cats that go outside.
My point is that cats, they're kind of sadistic. They don't necessarily take life just because they're hungry. And I imagine that wild animals a lot of the time are the same. They probably don't take life unless they really need to because they don't want to expend the energy. But I'm sure if there was something nearby, they would play with it. It's just their way.
Let's say, hypothetically, you convert, or people convert other people into being vegan, right? However, that's not going to stop people from producing. The market is huge.
Well,
it's been going on.
Why would they produce if no one's buying it? Why would they produce if no one's buying it?
That is true. But how are you going to influence 8 billion people into going vegan? I'm telling you that you would only...
Well, for one thing, I mean, it takes a small group to make a huge change. The world is only maybe 1% vegan. Look at all the vegan options that you see now. There's vegan cheese, vegan flesh, there's vegan steak, there's a vegan sunny side up fried egg.
Yeah, I tasted them and it gave me major diarrhea. Actually, it hurt my stomach.
Okay, all right. Well, it's probably because you need more fiber in your diet. But what my point is, 1% of the population has made this big of an influence on the food market, so much so that meat companies are even making meat substitutes. It's that big of an influence. So imagine if we went from 1% to even just 10% of the population, the difference that would make, especially on everyone's ethics if they started to actually understand what they're demanding when they buy those pretty pink packages in the store. It'll be a slow transition. I can't do it overnight, but I can talk to people one by one, and we can have a knockdown effect where people talk to other people and we influence each other.
That happened one time with that vegan teacher, and look at her now. She's irrelevant today. And
I'm not the vegan teacher. I'm not her.
Yeah,
so
she's kind of.
And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what vegan you point out, because the point of veganism is to acknowledge the sentience of an animal and that they deserve their bodily autonomy, just like you and I. Mm-hmm. In any extreme situation, you can justify harming someone, not morally, but it's understandable.
God, no. Yeah, no. It's.
But if you have options, you don't have an excuse.
Yeah, that is true. However, for me, I do not have options.
You don't have a grocery store?
We do. It's the thing has to do with body or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, your phone cut out.
Oh,
United.
All the time.
There you are. So I do have resources for you.
My Wi-Fi automatically disconnects and reconnects. So.
Yeah, I get you. I've had that. So what I would say is, if you truly do not want to harm the animals, you can look up resources like Challenge 22 to talk to a nutritionist if you want help making sure you get all your nutrition. You can go look at nutritionfacts.org. They've just a website with a bunch of collections of videos that review studies and kind of break it down for you, why, what they found, and their conclusions. You can also just type in your favorite dishes and put the word vegan, because if you have a grocery store, I'm almost sure you have access to beans, rice, nuts, at least some kind of fruit and vegetable. There's things that you can look at.
I understand.
But see, here's the thing. Until you recognize that you are making a victim have to walk into a slaughterhouse, you're not going to care. If you just think about yourself, your health, your inconvenience, you're not going to care. You have to think about the individual that you're sacrificing. You have to consider their wants, what they're going through, and is what you want worth them going through the scariest, most terrifying thing in the world?
Yeah, you know, you might be right, but here's the thing. Even though they are mammals, and this, our body, you know, since, you know, generations ago, right, we had to hunt animals. We eat crops, you know.
See, this is what I'm talking about, though. You're still trying to hold on to using someone. You're justifying exploiting and oppressing someone because you think our ancestors did it.
I have never said anything in my mouth. I never said anything saying it is okay to kill people and I'm okay with it. I never
when
said
I
that.
say people, I'm including animals.
I know, that's one of animals. I never said out of my mouth it is okay for this, and how they do it is I've seen what they do.
But you still pay for it.
I don't pay for it. My mom goes grocery shopping and I just eat what I get.
Okay. Well, she is still putting the demand in for you. If you told her you didn't want to eat that anymore, she probably wouldn't buy it anymore.
Well, yeah, that is true. However,
so it sounds to me like you can, but it's scary to have change, and I understand that. It can feel overwhelming, but if you consider the victim, it's really not that hard of a thing to do to just switch over. Once you have the victim in mind.
I'm trying to think about it in the most clear way possible to make it seem like I'm not trying to justify, because I'm not justifying the killing of animals, and I get it. Going out and you buying that stuff does raise high demand, and I do realize, but animals, those poor things. God, sorry, brain fart.
It's fine. Take your time.
During Thanksgiving, I was 9 years old, right? We had a do-it-yourself turkey, and how they did it wasn't like it was quick and painless. The turkey was not in pain. They put it to sleep.
Yeah, but did the turkey deserve that? Did the turkey deserve having their life taken away from them?
The turkey, yeah, no, but
that's the point. It doesn't matter if they suffer.
Overpopulation of a certain animal can cause.
But now you're jumping around. I'm trying to focus on the victim, and you're focusing on environment now. We already control their population, and we can easily, not let them procreate anymore. That's an easy thing to do.
Okay. Well, how do you think you can do that?
By not letting them procreate, either by giving them birth control of some sort or separating them.
Okay, so going by your logic, you're going to force them not to do something they want to do. Like, let's say one wants to procreate, but you're going to force them not to do that.
So animals, I don't think animals, just like humans, have to go through an education to learn about the birds and the bees, right? I don't think that mammals that we've farmed into I don't think they understand what they're agreeing to when they do the limbo with each other. I don't think they understand I'm going to mate to make a baby. That doesn't happen in their head.
When you're putting them on like a birth control, where are you putting it?
Oh, you can do, there's other ways to do birth control, like giving them it in their food, or maybe
Pills, right?
As an injection or some sort. Yeah. Or you can just keep them separated.
But they didn't, by your logic, they didn't consent to this.
Yes, but they're kind of like children in this sense, right? They need to be cared for. We've bred them to be dependent on us.
Going by your logic.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't consent to be brought into the world, but they're here, so we should take care of them.
But also, you're putting them on birth control without consent.
Yeah, because they don't it would be like protecting a child. They don't understand what they're agreeing to when they mate. So if they have the
They're not a
urge,
child, though.
they don't have the consequence of having what?
They're not a child, though.
They are bred to be dependent on us.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They can't go out in the wild. There's a lot of things they don't understand. And also, because we've bred them, they have cruelty in their body. Like I said, they're bred to depend on us. To allow them to procreate is to allow more beings to come into this world that didn't consent and also will have to rely on humans to continue to care for them. And that is, honestly, the cruelty itself.
Did you look
up? Go ahead.
You know, I understand where you're coming from, but again, it didn't consent since you want to keep the logic. But also,
see, if you did know where I was coming from, I feel like you would be on my side. Like if I said I like eating babies, you know, these babies I know they're not going to grow up. They don't understand what's going on. You would probably say that's morally apprehensible, and I should stop.
They aren't babies when.
They are babies.
You know that, right?
No, they're very much babies. They're killed at a fraction of their lifespan.
The only article you're coming at from is PETA, which is known to be an unreliable source.
What are you talking about? I'm not quoting PETA. These are facts. You can look this up anywhere. Look up. Just go into Google. I don't have a source that lists out their age. You can just find that in Google. I don't have a source for that.
Before I went.
Tell me, how old do you think dairy cows are when they're sent to slaughter? Find your own source and tell me so that because I say 6 years.
All right, 6 years.
Yep. That's the average.
Well,
that's the average.
Actually, one second. I think I could go to Google on my.
Okay. You're talking about how long the cow can live without being slaughtered or exploited. So yes, it can be 15 to 20, 25. There are some cows that live to be 25 years old if they're taken care of well. Look up some sanctuaries, okay? But a dairy cow is definitely killed after 4 to 6 years if they're not taken to a sanctuary, which most are not. And that's the USDA, National Agricultural Statistics Services. That is not PETA.
All right. Well, that's not what I've been saying. I said 10 to 12 years for dairy cows when they're sent to the slaughterhouse. That's not
fact. That's not fact.
Well, it's
you must be misreading. That maybe says months.
No, it says years.
Well, it's not true.
Well, it comes from an official farm.
No, you just said the Transparent Farm Project, which they're the ones investigating slaughterhouses, so that's why I think you're misreading their website.
No, it says when I looked up age of animals slaughtered, knowledge base, farm transparency, 10 to 12 years, dairy cows, and then 15 to 20 years, most chickens.
You skipped something. See, that's why I know you're really wrong, because chickens do not live that long. They live maybe to 15 years. At most. That would be like a really, really old chicken.
Yeah, it says 15 to 20 years, yeah.
So are you talking about them being sent to slaughter or their actual full lifespans? Because there's a difference.
And turkeys.
No, okay, you're being disingenuous. I don't believe you. No,
I can turn on my camera and show you.
I don't want you to turn on your camera. Look up the USDA national averages.
All right.
You must have been reading their full life, because I'm still only finding they're slaughtered at 4 to 6 years. 4 to 6 years,
So
4 to 6 years.
Up?
Look, you can do this on your own. You clearly are just being difficult with me, and I'm just tired of dealing with this, okay? Dairy cows are slaughtered at 4 to 6 years. That's great. I'm sorry that I can't communicate with you.
I'm a bit slow. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm telling you that dairy cows are killed at 4 to 6 years. They can live up to be 15, 20, or even 25. Chickens are maybe 10 years. They can live to be 10 years, but they're killed about 6 to 8 weeks if they're used for their flesh. I think egg layers are a little longer. Yeah, they're 2 years. So it doesn't even matter. Even if you let someone live their whole entire life, let's say we do send dairy cows at age 15. When you're like 90 or 80, do you want to be sent to the slaughterhouse just because you're elderly?
If it's quick and painless, yeah.
It's not. I want you to go look up the most humane slaughter footage you can. Okay? That'll open your eyes
that
to
would put me on a list.
Look, why would it do that?
I don't know. Just watching, like, which there's different type of. They do it differently nowadays than they did like.
Then tell me how they do it.
Ago.
How do they do it? I would love to learn how they do it. Please tell me.
Well, when I was 7 years old, I went to a farm to make my own turkey, or 7 or 10. I was young. But I do remember they would put them to sleep, and it would be very quick and painless. Well, that's how I saw it. It was an official farm. They did it that way. I saw it with my own eyes.
Well, your eyes were deceived. They usually turn the animal upside down. They usually turn the animal upside down, or they stuff them into a...
Then they cut their neck.
No. United, okay, we're done.
Blood.
I'm done with your disingenuity. You're wrong. You're wrong. They either take the bird, turn them upside down in a giant cone, pull their head out of the bottom of the cone, and remove their head, or at least slice their neck so that they bleed out. That's what they do. That's how they do it. Or they put them out on a cutting board and stretch out their neck, and someone with an axe removes their head. They're not put to sleep before. How can you put someone to sleep beforehand? You would ingest the chemicals. That doesn't make sense. Okay? I think you need to go watch Dominion. You need to go learn what the animals need to go through. It doesn't matter that they suffer. You do not have rights over someone else's autonomy. You don't get to do whatever you want to them just because you can dominate them, or because mommy will dominate them for you. Okay? It's immoral. You have a moral obligation to eat something else instead of someone.